Have you ever read a piece of litigation and think this isn't part of a trash fire? This is part of a trash fire that's meant to consume. And when I talk about consumption, I'm talking about it's meant to burn down the houses of those that didn't walk lockstep. Yeah, you're talking vindictiveness, baby. So hey there. So today I want to return to that wonderful world of litigation to talk about yet another filing in the Vic Mignogna case. And when I'm looking at this, I think, wow, this really does strike me as vindictive. Why? Because you have certain people out there that are saying it's all over. Why don't you pay us? That was in another video, but there was a filing for that. And in this filing, they're saying, while you're at it, why don't you turn over X, Y, and Z to me so you know we can actually burn every stinking thing down. It pretty much breaks that down for you. You see who it's aimed at here. Beard, Harris, Bullock, and Hughes. It says that here, in 10 days, you're going to be served a subpoena by Monica Rial and Ron Toy. Fun times, huh? Fun times. You can see the idea that's going to be conveyed here, to any sheriff or constable of the state of Texas or other persons authorized to serve and execute. Greetings. You are hereby commanded to serve Beard, Harris, Bullock, and Hughes. Fun times there. You're commanded to produce or permit inspection and copying of the following documentation or tangible things at the place, date, and time specified below. So they give you the when and where and all of that. And when you go through this, the who is what I want to show you before we get to all of the definitions to it. So the documents that they're wanting here, and again, really think about why they would want all of this. Documents and communications, including emails, texts, and other types of communication. When they break down types of communication too, I swear I was having flashbacks to, say, Old West movies. Oh, we want that. It's in Morse code, and it talks about a bank robbery. But my God, since I can't read Morse code, it might be about Rekieta. But anyway, between you, Christopher Slatosh, Chuck Huber, Stan Dolan, don't like you, Stan, do they? And or Rekieta, concerning the litigation, Vic Mignogna and any of the defendants, defense counsel, and or the affidavits executed by Christopher Slatosh, by Chuck Huber, Stan Dolan in the litigation. Also, documents and communications concerning Kamehacon 2019 that reference or discuss Mignogna defendants, Slatosh, or Rekieta. So you see, what they want to know, number one, is how certain leaks happen. In fact, I think that they're looking for other quote-unquote conspirators out there to try to burn them out too, so they can cause problems. But also, they want to cause problems for Christopher Slatosh. Why? Because that guy actually had the audacity to go out and tell the truth. Can you imagine that? Going out and telling the truth. And well, because of that, of course, people want to burn you down. Yeah, that's pretty much like doing with these people from any day that ends with Y. But these people, because they chose not to stay silent. Yep, legal process, baby. Fun times, huh? You see Chuck Huber listed in there. Good times too. Stan Dolan. Isn't it interesting to see Stan Dolan in there? Because Stan Dolan was supposed to be a darling of these folks until. And of course, Rekieta in there. Now, the definition of all of this stuff is a lot of fun. You can go through and basically look at this, but they break it down. And I remember a breakdown that was kind of like this, that these folks threw a fit over. Why? Because definitions were way too vague. It included everything and its mama out there. And you know what? You can't do that. I mean, that's what these folks, they claimed again and again when they were asked to provide evidence. And you know what? They ended up not providing anything. Fun times, huh? Fun times. So looking at communications, they mean any oral or written utterances, notification or statement of any nature whatsoever, by or to whomever made, including but not limited to correspondence, conversation, dialogues, discussions, interview, consultations, agreements, and or understandings between two or more parties. We want everything that you can define as a communication between two or more parties in that. That includes stuff that, well, you probably wouldn't have record of. Fun times, huh? Fun times. Now, the term document, man, they go pretty wide with it. Like I said, this did remind me of some old school movies. I thought, man, how far back can you go? So they say it's in the broadest sense of the term, and it's not limited to all of this stuff. But I mean, just get a little taste of it here. I don't want to go through this whole freaking part. It's so boring. But it's talking about whether it's printed, recorded, reproduced by mechanical or electronic press. But they want agreements, communications, including intercompany and intra-company communications. So they want the stuff that's going on within the law firm where people are talking in that capacity. You brought up Rekieta in your own law firm between lawyer X and lawyer Y. You owe that to us. Oh, you did the same thing with Kameyacon? You owe that to us too. Fun times there. Good luck with that. Letters, electronic mail, instant messages, text messages, correspondence, applications of any type that exchange communications. You would think that people that spend this much time on Twitter would understand that it's called direct messages, but hey, not limited to, right? Telegrams, cables, telexes, memorandum, records. I imagine what they were talking about here was actually a circular record. They're not talking about going out and keeping record books, man. But I mean, you look at all of these different things. They even love photographs. They love it so much, you get it twice. Photographs, videotapes, photographs. Man, fun time. Microfiche, microfilm are also listed in here, because everything you do these days, you back up on microfiche or microfilm, right? I mean, that's normal. Pamphlets, circulars, advertising literature, working papers, checks front and back, check stubs, receipts, other documentation, papers or writing of whatever description included but not limited to, information contained in any computer or electronic information storage or retrieval device. Now, they tell you the term you, your, or BHBH means, of course, BHBH. We know exactly who that is. They define the term litigation, okay, that's standard operating, and then the term Kameyacon and the term Kameyacon 2019. Now, the way that they divide this and then the way that they define what the people in that are supposed to be is kind of interesting too. So you get Kameyacon 2019, Mignogna defined in here, defendants, so anything talking about any defendant, not just the defendants that they represent, and they have Rekieta here. Now listen to this. I mean, I love how they throw certain things in here, like picking it through. Unless otherwise indicated, the use in these requests of the name or identity of any person, business, organization, or other entity shall specifically include all of that. Entities or persons present or former employees, officers, directors, agents, representatives, members, partners, attorneys, departments, sections, affiliates, subsidiaries, parents, and all others acting on it. It's in their behalf. Parents was specifically added there because, wait for it, Mignogna's mama. That's right. They want to make sure that, well, not really an employee, but hey, if you were communicating back and forth with your mama, we want that too. So maybe, just maybe there's something in there that we can burn you the heck down with. Fun times, isn't it? Fun times. Term relating to, as well, means reflecting, referring to, regarding, having any relationship, pertaining to, evidencing, constituting, in part or in whole there. So the subject matter of particular requests, as well as any documentation which contains, records, etc., etc. So they also, of course, you're supposed to be able to provide that if it's electronic as a hard copy or a PDF. And what was interesting about this stuff after you get past the idea of who names and identities are, like who exactly is here, is the date range to this, because it goes back to January 1st, 2019. Now, it's interesting considering that is well outside of the scope of discussion for any kind of GoFundMe, as well as outside of the discussion for anyone that was actually covering this stuff. They went back to the beginning of the year, and I wonder with that, since Kickvic, kicks up around the 17th of January, what does that say? Is that them just going out and trying to net an exact range or an unexact range, or are they trying to go out and say maybe there was a little bit more out there? I know that they had more out there. I would have been very curious to see certain things that popped up with regard to an A&N. I've already seen quite a few of those, other items too. But, anyway, just curious about that date range. For the purposes of interpreting and construing the scope of a request, you are instructed to give Word the most expansive and inclusive meaning, unless otherwise specifically limited by the language of an individual request. Accordingly, construing the words "and" as well as "or" in the distinctive and the conjunctive, as well as to make the request more inclusive, construe the term including to mean including but not limited to. So you can see how that goes through. We want everything. Don't play semantic games. That's really funny considering there were other people, like I said, that did this throughout litigation. They played their little reindeer games. They provided jack and, well, the other word that goes with that. But of course, that's not good enough now. That's not good enough at all. See, I always thought when I saw these people acting like this, gloves should have came off. In fact, I celebrated the idea that the gloves were finally coming off, but they came off right before the TCPA. And then finally, this breaks down telling you that documents, it's related to things in your physical control of any entity or person, and you individually or otherwise own the document or thing in part and whole, have a right by contract, statute, or otherwise to use, inspect, examine, or copy that document or a thing of any terms, have been able to use, inspect, examine, and copy that document or thing when you have sought to do so. So, looking over this again, you see who it's aimed at. You see what this is. It looks like a huge exploration attempt to find anything to nitpick, because that stuff will be dropped online, because these folks out there, they promised that they would burn people down. That's the problem with these people. These people are part of cancel culture, and you better believe that after what we saw, they definitely want to cancel some folks. But anyway, let me know what you think about all of this stuff. If you like this kind of content, make sure you're subbed to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell, all of that jazz. You know exactly how that works. If you want to go further in helping out, there are links in the description, including The Case of the Littlest Umbrella. It's our all-ages Lovecraftian book, plus another book. Check out the tiers there. And yeah, if you want to get in before it's too late. Closing this out, I want to ask for you to give me your comments, pro and con. And also closing, I want to thank you for showing up. Many people out there, they forget exactly who empowers endeavors. It's easy for these folks to do. Don't ever want to be like that. So I end every day by saying thank you. I appreciate you, and we'll do this again soon. Thanks.